Man, they've been over backwards trying to make Brittney Griner into something that she just isn't. She's not a sports star. She is, God, I hate to say it, but she's like a circus act. Come and see the tatted up, instead of the bearded lady, it's like, come see the 6'9" tatted up, angry person who hates America, who was so stupid she got busted in Russia and cost us. We had to set free a terrorist to get this woman back because she's a part of an entitled class. She's lesbian. She's this or that.
Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison.
Have you noticed the strange things happening around Brittney Griner? From bizarre sideline antics to explosive outbursts on the court, fans have been buzzing louder than ever. And now Stephen A. Smith has jumped right into the fire, with a revelation so bold it could shake the entire WNBA. He claims to have seen bombshell documents tied directly to Griner's past. And if those files are real, the league is sitting on the biggest scandal in its history. This is not just about elbows, trash talk, or a few heated moments in games. This is about a superstar whose story may not be what fans were told, and a league that looks desperate to keep the truth hidden. The question now is impossible to ignore. What is the WNBA hiding, and why does it feel like the lid is about to blow off?
To Gray from behind the line, and down it goes. And now we've got Brittney Griner going after Anigwe, and this could get ugly. Griner is being held back by numerous players, and now trying to throw punches. Agler now is being pushed along the sideline on the press row. My goodness.
For weeks, fans have called out Griner for her constant clashes with Caitlin Clark, other NBA players, and her wild, unpredictable energy on the court. But Stephen A. Smith decided to take things further. During a sit-down interview on the Valuetainment podcast, he unleashed one of his most explosive rants of the year. He accused Griner of being a bully, of showing zero gratitude, of acting like the league and the country owed her everything. And that alone would have been enough to send shockwaves across sports media. But then he dropped the line that sent the internet into chaos. According to Stephen A., hidden DNA records taken during Griner's time in a Russian prison revealed genetic markers that no one expected.
Brittney Griner for the Phoenix Mercury, she's decided to step away from basketball, leave of absence for mental health. First of all, God bless you. All the best to you, Brittney. If anybody at all, has a perfectly logical explanation for needing to step away from basketball to address their mental health.
He didn't spell out every detail, but he hinted enough to make fans' imaginations run wild. He suggested those tests expose traits that could explain her raw and almost overwhelming manly power on the court. The kind of strength that leaves teammates bruised in practice and opponents battered after games. Once those words left his mouth, the wildfire began. The story had already been simmering for weeks, but Stephen A. poured gasoline on the fire. And now the entire basketball world is watching, waiting, and asking the same question. What exactly is in those mysterious documents?
I've been here almost 8 months, and people with more severe crimes have gotten less than what I was given. I want to also apologize for this mistake.
And it does not stop there. The entire world remembers the high-profile swap that brought Brittney Griner home. The United States traded Victor Bout, the infamous merchant of death, for Griner, who had been arrested for carrying cannabis oil. On paper, it made no sense. A convicted arms dealer accused of plotting against innocent lives, exchanged for a basketball player serving 9 years. Even then, fans scratched their heads. Why would America make such a lopsided deal? Why give up one of the most dangerous men on the planet for a minor charge?
Clearly, she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The merchant of death.
The merchant of death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens.
Those questions were whispered back then, but after Stephen A's explosive comments, they are roaring louder this time around. Because if his hints are true, then that trade was about far more than the public was told. Stephen A suggested hidden layers existed, classified details the public was never meant to see. Griner's arrest, her time in a Russian prison, the reported DNA tests, and then the most unbalanced prisoner exchange in years. Fans are connecting dots, and the picture looks scandalous.
What a pleasure it is to say this. Here is a first look of Brittney Griner getting released from prison and on her way back. Take a listen to her on the plane.
What's your mood? Happy. Well, are you ready for flight?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Ну, вы знаете, куда вы летите?
Do you know where I'm heading to?
No.
No?
No. Вы летите домой.
You fly back home
To the U.S.
to the US.
Да, конечно.
One wrote, "They let the Merchant of Death walk free for a reason." Griner is not just a basketball player. There's something else they're not telling us. Another said, if the Russians knew what the tests revealed, America had no choice but to bring her back before the world found out. That theory spread quickly, and with Stephen A's voice amplifying it, it was no longer fringe talk. It was pure mainstream debate. The swap was already controversial, but now it looks stranger. The WNBA, the US government, and Griner herself are in the middle of a storm that refuses to fade. Because once you start asking why, the dominoes fall. Why was she kept in a men's prison for part of her sentence? Why did Russian authorities run extra medical tests? Why were those results never public? And why was the US so determined to get her back, even if it meant trading away one of the most dangerous criminals alive? Stephen A never gave all the answers, but his message was clear. There are secrets behind that swap. Secrets that the league, the government, and maybe Griner herself never wanted revealed. And fans are not letting it go. Social media lit up with theories, memes, and demands for answers. For the WNBA, the timing could not be worse. They are pushing to expand, fighting for sponsors and attention. But instead of growth headlines, they are being dragged into a firestorm they cannot control. And if the whispers are true, this could be the scandal that overshadows everything.
Talking to Angelica suffering. I don't think she's going to get it. She's going to get a T. Now here it comes, and she's going to get another T. She's gone.
She's gone with contact.
Made contact.
Theories did not stay quiet for long. Once Stephen A lit the match, fans dug through every old clip, every viral moment, every part of Griner's past that suddenly looked suspicious. And the deeper they went, the stranger it seemed.
It's on real quick. Brick! Thank you! Get the hell out of here, yo! Jab stepping, it's the brick. Swing and a miss!
Oh!
Yo, I ain't gonna fake it right now.
Swag is down for the count.
One of the first things to resurface was that infamous poolside video. A clip that looked like it should have been flagged by Instagram instantly, but it never was, and people asked why. If any other female player had posted it, the platform's guidelines would have kicked in. But for Griner, the video stayed up, sparking debates that now feel less harmless. What once seemed like a quirky moment now looks like a piece of a much larger puzzle. Fans asked, why does she get different treatment? And if Instagram ignored that, what else has been ignored? The questions only grew louder when people revisited her behavior on the court. Her elbows, her trash talk, the way opponents often walked away bruised while she looked untouched. And then came whispers from inside locker rooms. Some former teammates hinted that practices with Griner could be brutal, that going against her in drills felt like a boxing session. That bruises were common, and some even joked about needing body armor when she was in full mode.
We don't take no wheels, double up like work, let's work.
But when Caitlin Clark entered the league, the spotlight became blinding. Every clash between Clark and Griner turned into instant viral content.
Fouled out, had 6, and it was the ticky-tack fouls. And again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's Britney's fifth.
Clips of Griner bodying up Clark, knocking her around the paint, and throwing sharp elbows began flooding timelines. But one clip stood out above the rest. Many fans swore they heard Griner snap at Clark, cussing "fucking white girls" as she sat down. The backlash was instant. Debate shows replayed it endlessly, calling it a line no athlete should cross.
You said you didn't remember what you said during that viral moment after you fell down against the Indiana Fever. A lot of people believe what you said was effing white girl or effing white girls. Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that. Like, there's no place for that in our league. Wouldn't say that.
So even though you can't remember, you know that was not what you said?
I know it wasn't that because I wouldn't use that type of language.
Later, when asked about it, Griner denied ever saying those words. She claimed she could not even remember the moment. That denial only deepened suspicion. And with Stephen A's fiery claims hanging in the background, fans began looking at those viral clips in a new light. Suddenly, what once seemed like tough veteran play felt like something much darker. For Clark, it was another chapter in her rookie saga. For Griner, it was gasoline poured on an inferno already raging. She was no longer just a dominant force on the court, but rather a mystery that fans and analysts alike were desperate to solve. Fans did not see just another outburst. They saw a player unraveling under pressure. They saw a superstar tied to whispers of DNA files, prisoner swaps, and a league that might be hiding something. And in the court of public opinion, those dots were too easy to connect.
There's not a day that goes by that we're not working on Brittney Griner, working with the special presidential envoy for hostage affairs of the State Department. It's very complex, as you can imagine, legally, geopolitically, diplomatically. So we're working with the experts on this.
Then came the darkest whisper of all. That maybe the league already knew. Maybe the WNBA had seen the same files Stephen A hinted at and decided it was safer to protect her than risk the fallout. Because if the truth came out, it would not just be about Griner. It would be about the league, the trades, the sponsors, and the credibility of the sport itself. That alone is the kind of scandal no one is ready to face.
I wish we had this when I was here. Boy, we would have blew the roof off this thing. But that national championship up there at Denver, that's what's standing out to me, 40-0 right now.
Theories exploded across platforms. Was this emotion or evidence of something deeper? Was the league protecting a troubled star? Or was there more truth to Stephen A's claims? Memes spread everywhere while comment sections were lit up. Some demanded the WNBA investigate. Others called for her career earnings to be reviewed. The narrative had spiraled beyond basketball. It was no longer about points. It was about identity, transparency, and whether the league had compromised its integrity.
You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. Especially something.
Stephen A did not back off. He leaned harder, reminding fans the Merchant of Death swap never made sense. He noted the league's silence in defending her and suggested the truth was bigger than anyone knew. His words kept spreading, fueling the fire. And because of that, the whispers behind the scenes had turned into a full-blown national debate.
Here's Griner going in for the throwdown. Houston rumbling through, finds Griner for the dunk, and that's what the sellout crowd was waiting for. Zargon finding Griner! Slam dunk. Griner comes up with a steal and maybe a little showtime. Brittney Griner, the two-handed finish.
Over to Griner, who dunks it in.
Griner goes flying in with the...
Now the WNBA faces the storm of its life. Every game, every foul, every outburst goes viral with captions calling her out. She is no longer just a veteran. She has become the center of the league's biggest controversy. And with Stephen A promising documents, fans wait for the drop. If those files are real, the fallout could be catastrophic. Sponsors could panic, fans could feel betrayed, and the WNBA's credibility could be dragged right through the dirty mud.
Griner gets free and throws it down! Brittney Griner! Here's Griner. One dribble into bodies, finds a way to the rim. And
Really nice job by Brittney Griner.
Griner will take with a hand in her face. Back to Turner on the roll. Great movement, pushing in the foul. A free throw for the lead coming for Phoenix. Smith 5 to shoot. Gets it back to Griner. She finishes. 5 to shoot. Griner fading, facing, and hitting.
Until then, the theories only grow louder. The past looks stranger. The present feels tense, and the future of Brittney Griner in the NBA is clouded in doubt. So here is the question the league cannot escape. Is Brittney Griner simply a misunderstood star? Or has the WNBA been protecting secrets that could rewrite everything fans thought they knew? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you think this is only the beginning, and hit subscribe so you never miss the next update. Because if Stephen A is right, the next shoe to drop could become the biggest scandal in WNBA history. And you will not want to miss what happens next. Thanks for watching.